some US people in the bookkeeping business, but most of our companies are 99% outsourced. The cool thing about FreeUp, and when we sold it, we had no office, we had no US employees, we had thousands of freelancers and VAs on the platform, but our internal team was 30 VAs in the Philippines. So yeah, we hire a lot from the Philippines.
I love when coaches, consultants, and professional service providers want to do big things in their business. They want to rise to the top and influence their market and the world around them. They want to have a greater impact and make a more lucrative income. Well, if this is you, welcome to Expert in You podcast, the show where I interview other experts and coaches, consultants, so that they can share their success strategies with you. We're going to talk about marketing and how to close more sales, how to get more premium clients, and how to really build your visibility in the market and scale your business like a boss. If this is you, welcome to the show. I want to ask you to subscribe and hit the notification bell right now so you don't miss one episode. Grab your coffee and buckle up because we are ready to give it all to you to help you become the expert and get paid as the expert that you are. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Expert in You podcast. I'm your host, Ann Carden, and I cannot wait for you to hear from my guest today. I have been following him for a long time in the entrepreneurial space online, and he is just brilliant. And we're going to talk about how to take $5,000, turn it into $12 million. Yes, you heard me right. I have Nathan Hirsch with me today. So Nathan, welcome to my show.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
You are just amazing. And he is a new dad. He just shared with me. He has a brand new baby boy. So I want to congratulate you on that. But I'm super excited to dive into everything that you have done and are doing. And I know you're going to give just massive value to my audience today. So why don't you just share what you do now? And then you can give a little bit of your backstory as well.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm a longtime entrepreneur. I've been building businesses since I was 20. I started out in my college dorm room. I was buying and selling textbooks, competing with my school bookstore. And that got me into the e-commerce space. I had an Amazon account and started doing trial and error and came across baby products and toys. And I mean, through my entrepreneurial journey, it really has just been a lot of trial and error, testing, seeing what's working, seeing what's not, pulling back on what's not working. And I mean, even going back to the textbooks, like it made a little money, but what wasn't working is I didn't have a lot of money to buy textbooks. I didn't have any place to store them, and the school bookstore wasn't happy with me either. But when I moved to baby products and toys, I kind of found an opportunity where I could sell other people's products. I didn't have to store it. They would ship it right to the manufacturer. Amazon would get me sales. I didn't need like a lot of money to buy inventory. So I always kind of look for opportunities like that. And I mean, my business partner who I met in college, Connor Gillivan, we scaled that business, did about 25 million over a 6-7 year period. And we hired a lot of college kids to start to run that business and learned a lot about hiring and what not to do. College kids were super unreliable. And that brought us into virtual assistants, where we hired our first VA from the Philippines. And that really changed our life. We ended up creating a marketplace where other people could hire our pre-vetted VAs and freelancers. That became FreeUp, our first B2B business, which was a lot of fun. We got to learn bookkeeping and marketing and all the stuff that went with it. And that's a company that we scaled to 12 million and it was acquired. I'm sure we'll kind of dive into that. And since our exit, my partner and I, we've been building a portfolio of different companies that all have operators in them. Like we have a bookkeeping business, an accounts balance. We're not bookkeepers, but we have someone with 30 years of experience running operations. We have an SEO business where Steven runs our operations there. And we have one marketing team that uses economies of scale to market for these different businesses. We have the strategy, the hiring, the systems to support these operators, but we don't want to be in fulfillment. We don't want to actually run and operate these businesses. So that's kind of what I'm up to now.
That's so awesome. I mean, wow, what a story. And just the brilliance that you, of everything that you've done is just amazing. And to take something, and you started the VA business, you started that with around $5,000. Was that right?
Yeah, all my businesses now, I start with $5,000. Bookkeeping was the only exception just because we had to hire a higher level controller to really run that. But I mean, with FreeUp, we had a minimum viable software that did almost nothing. Clients could see the freelancers on their account, and freelancers could log hours on their side. And we hired a VA, and that was it. Started going on podcasts, and we kind of built it up from there. And Outsource School, my hiring platform where we teach people how to hire, same thing, $5,000. So for me, we just live in a world where it's so easy to just get a product out there, the MVP, minimum viable
Oh,
product, and just see if there's
100%.
really a market for something, you know?
Yes, I love that. And I loved the way you shared that you even kind of identified gaps or opportunities to be able to see those opportunities around you and what would help other people and make a difference for other people. So I love how you've been able to turn that into businesses, very lucrative businesses. When you exited Free Up, and I think that, Nathan, I think that's where I first came across you. You probably reached out to me with your VA services and asked if I had a need for that. But then, I have seen you everywhere online too. When you sold that, how did you know when it was the right time to sell that? Because I've sold a lot of businesses too. And if I could go back, I can think of one that I would have sold it much sooner and when it was really at its peak instead of going through the recession with it. And then selling it. It was still good. It still turned out well. But how did you know when the right time to sell was?
Yeah, I mean, you never really know, right? I mean, you're making the best decision
I
possible
guess.
with the information that you have. I mean, at the time, we were running a very profitable business. It was cash flow
Mhm.
positive, very few expenses, no debt, and we liked it. We didn't go into the year saying, "Hey, we're going to sell this business," which is really the position you want to be. You want to sell a business that's growing, that's profitable, that
Right.
you like. You don't want to sell a company where you're burnt out or it's stalling or
Mhm.
whatever it is. And we kind of looked at all these different factors. This was pre-COVID, but the economy was at an all-time high. So we thought, hey, maybe it won't be like this forever. We got a really good offer, life-changing money from two entrepreneurs that we really liked, and we did due diligence on them. They checked all the boxes. We look up to them now. They really have become mentors to us. We knew that, hey, we got this business to 12 million, but to get to 25 million, we probably would have had to make significant changes, hire more US people or hire US people or whatever it was. And that came with its own risk where you can have a business that's bigger but making less money or the margins go down. So all these were factors. We were also coming off our Amazon business. Although we made money and had a lot of success, we had a sour taste in our mouth because at the beginning we thought we would take down Amazon and be the next e-commerce giant. And we ended up having to lay off a lot of people, and the business kind of stalled out. So we didn't want to go through that again. We had an opportunity to cash out, take chips off the table, so to speak, treat our team really well. We took $500,000 from the sale and give it to our team in the Philippines. And we didn't want to look back and say, hey, we missed this opportunity. Even if maybe there was some world where we could keep the business and grow it, like business is hard. Most businesses don't survive. When you get those opportunities, you have to think really hard about turning that down.
Right. Absolutely. That's great that you had people wanting to buy your business. And so now you're basically buying businesses, or are you still starting them up yourself? So are you acquiring?
No, after we sold Free Up, we definitely looked into acquiring businesses. I don't know. We never found the right business that we really liked. I think for us, we're just good at that startup phase. We're good at
Mhm.
starting something from scratch and hiring the operator. It's still something we're open to if the right opportunity comes about. But yeah, I don't know. It's not something we've done.
No, that's great. So why did you originally, so you told us your first business selling textbooks, but why did you originally become an entrepreneur? Like what made you want to do that? I think there's a calling there for most of us, but what was it for you?
My parents were both teachers growing up. So I grew up with the mentality that you go to school, you get a job, you work for 30 years, retire. And that's what they did. And they're living a great life. They actually live an hour from me now and they're traveling the world. But they always made me get jobs from the point I was 15 on. If I wanted a video game or car or whatever it was, I had to buy it myself. And so I was working every summer. I was working after school and on weekends. And I feel like I got a glimpse into what the real world was like and having a boss was like. And I didn't like it. I didn't like any part of it. I didn't like having that authority figure and having to work certain hours and drive to work every day. So I saw the CEOs or the owners of these companies like be able to work on the golf course. And I was like, I want that. So I think that it was always kind of inside me that, hey, I want to work for myself. I don't like having a boss. I don't like authority. And I think when I got to college, I really figured out what being an entrepreneur really meant.
That's great. What was the biggest shock to you when you stepped into the entrepreneurial space? What was something that you didn't realize was going to be part of it?
You gotta be good at hiring, right? Hiring is the key to success and failure. We went through so much turnover early in our Amazon business because we had no idea how to hire. We had no idea how to treat people. We had no idea how to build a company culture or what interview questions to ask. And you can have a great business idea. You can have good, tons of happy clients. But if you can't hire well, if you can't retain people, you're just going in circles over and over and over. And I see this a lot in outsource school
Revolving
where
door.
yeah, exactly. We'll get members who they just can't keep people around and
Mhm.
it can really stall you out. And vice versa. You can have entrepreneurs that don't have the best business ideas. They have an average product, average service, but they hire really good people and that changes everything. So
Mhm.
hiring it is something they don't really teach you in school, but it's a big part of business.
Yeah. So most of a lot of what you have done with Free Up and also with your current business, you hire a lot from overseas. Is that right? You work
We
with
do. We have some
overseas.
US people in the bookkeeping business,
Mhm.
but most of our companies are 99% outsourced. The cool thing about FreeUp, and when we sold it, we had no office, we had no US employees, we had
Mhm.
thousands of freelancers and VAs on the platform, but our internal team was 30 VAs in the Philippines. So yeah, we hire a lot from the Philippines.
So do you get pushback being, or you're in the United States, right, Nathan?
Right.
Yes. So do you get pushback from people in the US about hiring people overseas? Because I hear that obviously through the grapevine about people frustrated that we're hiring VAs from overseas. I have both. I have in the US and overseas. But yeah, I would love to hear your thoughts around that.
Yeah, I mean, on like a day-to-day, week-to-week basis, not really. Like, is there some people that'll post on social media here and there? Sure. I mean, we work with plenty of clients at outsource school who hire VAs, and because of that, they're able to grow their business, and that leads to US jobs. So it's
Hmm.
not 100% black and white. For
I
me,
agree.
I like supporting people no matter where they are in the world. Like we've been able
Hmm.
to change people's lives in the Philippines and all of that. So I mean, there's haters and people that disagree with what you do on all parts of it, and outsourcing it is no different.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. We have definitely the same philosophy. People are people, humans are humans, right? And they all have a need. And it's just like you said, it also does open up jobs in the US if it is a US company and they can grow. So super important to think about it that way. Nathan, what are a couple of tips or takeaways that you would like to share that were maybe the biggest ahas for you or the biggest game changers for you that people could walk away with today?
So if you're a B2B business, going on podcasts like these is just a great way to network and get your name out, get backlinks to your website, get in front of your ideal audience, become an authority figure. And that's something that we did really well during the free up days. And even now is just
Hmm.
connecting with people, going on podcasts, sharing their stories. You don't have to be crazy like me and go on 900 plus podcasts, but if you go on one a month, that's going to really help your business. You're going to be able to
Hmm.
take that raw content and chop it up and use it in social media, put it on your YouTube channel. There's just so many benefits for that. So I think a lot of B2B business owners don't think about that, but
Oh, they
podcasting
don't.
should definitely be part of your marketing channel.
I love that. What else?
Yeah, I think for me, one of my keys is just maximizing your whatever your most productive time is. Like I'm not a night owl, but there's people that work really well from midnight to 2 a.m. and make sure you're doing
Mhm.
the most important things during that time. For me, I like doing the most important thing first thing every single morning. That's been just a key for me. Whatever the most productive time is for you, make sure you're maximizing that every single day. And that's going to compound over time.
So Nathan, I know people are sitting here and you talked about owning multiple companies. I know you own lots and lots of companies and you're sitting on a podcast with me talking. And I know people are thinking, how does he have the time to do this? What is your schedule like, Nathan, doing everything that you're doing?
Yeah, so I mean, having operators makes it so you're not. So let me put it this way: during the free up days, 24/7. Really, like I was hustling, I was young, I was doing everything that I could to grow these businesses. And if someone wanted to do a podcast on a Saturday morning or client called me on a Friday night, I'm never turning it down. Now
Mhm.
I'm very strict in my time. Like I have people all the time that want to film podcasts and stuff at night, and I just say no. I don't work after 3 p.m. I don't do anything on weekends. I do zero work travel. I'm retired from all conferences. I'll probably never attend another business conference again. I'm just very strict with my time because I want to grow a business that doesn't require me to work weekends, work nights, go anywhere, be anywhere. And having operators allows me to do that. But the other key to that is I'm just very productive during my time. If I'm working 6 to 3 every day or 6 to 3 Monday to Friday, I'm getting the most important stuff done, or I'm delegating those things so they get done. So I make sure that everything gets done. My normal day is the most important things get done from that 6 to 8 period. Usually I have any kind of podcast or team meetings right after that. It's 9 a.m. right now. So in that kind of like 9 to 11 period, I take an hour off. I do a 1 hour intense HIIT workout in my gym in my basement. That's usually when I take lunch as well. And then the rest of my day, I'm outside walking the dogs, talking, doing any phone calls. I have a no Zoom call policy unless I'm in like a podcast or a team meeting or something like that. So if a client wants to talk to me or it's a networking call or whatever it is, I'm on my phone, I'm outside, I'm enjoying the Denver weather. And that's kind of how I like to live my life. So it's kind of, how do I get the most done while only doing things I want to do in the times I want to do them?
I love it. And you're obviously extremely organized and also really optimizing your time. And that's just so important. People get so distracted and they get to the end of the day and they're like, what did I accomplish? And because you don't want to work very many hours, just like I don't like to work very many hours, I am super productive in the time that I'm working. And I know you are as well. You have to be, otherwise you're living your business. So yeah. Nathan, anything else you want to share as we kind of wrap this up? I love what we've talked about here, but I want to give you an opportunity to share anything else.
No, I just launched my own website. It took me 7 years to buy nathanhirsch.com. So I finally have that. We have a weekly newsletter that goes out. Check it out. All my best content's out there. I'm on a mission to make entrepreneurship simpler for millions, and I do it all on nathanhirsch.com.
I love it. And we'll put those links in the show notes. So Nathan, this was so much fun having you on and sharing your expertise and everything. I'm just so amazed at everything that you've done at such a young age. Of course, now I'm showing my age, but it's so impressive. And I just know you're changing the world and you're also showing people what's possible out there if they're willing to step up and do things a little bit different. So I love it. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you.
All right, everyone. Thank you for being here. Make sure you get connected with Nathan. He's all over Facebook. And Nathan, are you on LinkedIn as well?
Yeah, check me out on any social media platform.
He's all over, so you can find him. We'll put the links in the show notes and go get onto his website, get onto that newsletter. And thank you again. And you all have an amazing week. Go rock your business. Bye-bye. If you've enjoyed this show, then I want to invite you to check out a free automated webinar where I show you how you can bring in ultra high fee clients for $25,000 to $125,000 or even more. I show you how you can do this maybe even in the next 7 to 60 days. So if you want to check out that free webinar, just go to expertinyouaccelerator.com and I'll see you on the inside. You have an amazing day, and until next time, God bless you. Go rock your business.